So the Apple event has just happened and there is so much to already unpack. Let's get into it. So first things first, starting off with the Apple Watch Series 10. Yes, a lot of people thought this was going to be a massive redesign to celebrate the 10th anniversary of the Apple Watch, but no. All we got was a titanium border, slightly thinner bezels, and something that's quite cool on this is now you can actually do playback from your Apple Watch. So you can play music out of the speakers, you can play a podcast out of the speakers. Very useful stuff. And I think it's going to be good because I sometimes find myself in situations where I'm without my AirPods, without my iPhone, and I just want to be able to listen to some songs on my watch. Now, this new OLED display is really fascinating. Now, it can do second by second refresh. So now that means that every second that goes by, the watch can refresh the screen, which is a really useful feature. I absolutely love this because I found myself sometimes actually needing to be able to see the amount of seconds, and when the always on display goes off, it's really inconvenient to have to flick it up because sometimes it just doesn't register. Now, the Apple Watch Ultra 3 is finally getting a black colour, which is taking absolutely ages to happen. I'm not being funny, why didn't we have this from the start? This has been needed on the Apple Watch since day one, and I'm so glad that finally it's come to the Ultra. Well, offline maps is now on the Apple Watch Ultra and also on the regular Apple Watch, so if you are without any connectivity, you can still use maps offline, which I have found to be really good, because on your iPhone you use it all the time, on my Android phones I use it all the time. Apple Watches are all carbon neutral now, so any specification of Apple Watch you get will be carbon neutral. Now this moves us swiftly onto AirPods. Now with AirPods, there's something very interesting happened. So they announced the regular AirPods as usual, AirPods 4, and they were completely normal, you know, some upgrades here and there, some slightly better speakers, you know, slightly little different redesign with a smaller case. But then they announced regular AirPods with noise cancellation and transparency mode, which is a separate product. Very weird, and it kind of is going to eat into AirPods Pro sales, because the whole reason that people were buying these mainly was for the noise cancelling and transparency. Now obviously people that want the tips and for it to fit slightly better into their ear are going to be very happy with that. But I'm very confused as to this move, because with the AirPods 2, they didn't announce any new AirPods. We're still on the second generation of AirPods, so it's very weird. That also moves me onto the AirPods Max. No one thought these things were going to get refreshed. All they did was go, yeah, AirPods Max still exist, but we're only adding USB-C to it. So there's no difference other than USB-C. I don't think they fixed that horrible charging mechanism. I don't think they fixed that the things never go off. And that case that looks very weird, still there. So same old headphones, except you get USB-C. So nothing much changed there. And finally, AirPods Pro 2, which literally just got a software update pretty much, saying that they're bringing hearing aid capability, which is also really useful, and also some hearing loss prevention features. So you're really not going to be gaining much. Your AirPods 2 are going to get an update and they're going to be 10 times better just overnight, just like that. So overall, AirPods was a very boring upgrade and also a very strange upgrade in my opinion. I don't understand why they would put active noise cancellation on these and also a regular version. It's really strange. Now that brings us on to the start of the show, the iPhone 16. These this year finally got real colours. Every colour we got pops. I'll show pictures now. Every colour actually is properly like a deep colour. It's not faded like on the iPhone 15s. It's fantastic. I'm really glad to see that. Now these are coming in the same old size of 6.1 inches and 6.7 inches, which keeps it the same as last year, and it's in sort of the perfect size for most people. And you know, with the Plus iPhone not being that popular, I think it's going to make the Max option even more popular now, especially with the new sizing, which we'll get onto in a minute. The action button has also finally come to the regular 16s, so now you will be able to use your action button, and that is the end of the ring switch completely on every new iPhone to come. And yeah, it's kind of sad to see, but I think the action button is a lot more useful than the ringer switch in my opinion. The ringer switch for me always stays on mute and never gets used. So personally, I think the action button is a great thing to have overall. And then another button got added to the 16s and the 16 Pros called a camera control button. So now you can click on this button and you'll be able to open the camera quickly. You'll also be able to slide to zoom in and out. You'll also be able to half press it into focus. Some really useful features there. I just don't know if we needed a whole new button for it. I think the main reason why they've introduced this is because of their AI features, where you can quickly click and it will open up, so then you can scan and then AI will tell you everything you need to know about what's going on right in front of you, which I suppose can be useful, but it's also a little bit pointless in my opinion. I don't know how many people actually ever use these features. I guess we'll find out. And strangely, they went Instead of, they introduced the 17 Pro chip last year, they kept the iPhone 15s on the A16 chip when the A17 Pro chip was out, and this year they've said we've jumped 2 generations across to the A18 chip. So you will finally get a newer chip that works alongside iOS 18, but it's a strange move. I understand that AI has been a massive sort of jump, and they probably weren't expecting, AI to, boom in popularity so quickly, which is why I think that they've upgraded these chips to be more powerful, because it's just the A16 chip is just not going to be able to do any of the AI features that Apple want it to. And I think, it's a good move to finally have A18 and an A18 Pro. It makes more sense than having an A16 and then an A17 Pro on an iPhone that is a new one. It made no sense to me why they did that. And Apple kept bragging about how all these iPhones are designed around AI, which is great, but AI in every single sentence gets a little bit boring after a while. The iPhone 16 also got a 48 megapixel main camera, which is really good. Obviously all the photos get binned down to 24 anyway. It also means you get that little extra bit of picture quality on there, which is also really useful. I think a lot of people are really going to appreciate that. Now that also moves me on to, they have also added that 2x button that we've had on the Pro iPhones for a while, and now you have a 2x button out of 2 cameras. So you get 4 cameras overall. In macro mode, you get your ultra wide, you get your wide, and then you get your 2x mode, which is really cool, and I'm glad to see that they're adding it. But it is also just using the main lens, the 40 megapixel camera, so it's not actually a real camera. And they were also talking about spatial capture for Vision Pro. That's the whole reason why the cameras have gone back to the horizontal layout. So that just basically means that you can record video that has depth to it. So if you ever get an Apple Vision Pro, that is an option that is on there for you. I doubt a lot of people are ever going to be seeing these videos for a long time, but it is useful to have it if you have a really special occasion that you want to be able to see in the future on your Vision Pro. I think you should do it, just because it will make that moment a bit more special, especially if you want to look back on it in the future. And now this A18 chip also now has the capability to support those AAA games that we got last year on the A17 Pro, and it's really good to see that these AAA games are going to be coming to the regular iPhone instead of just having it restricted to the Pro. And something that's really good to see is the physical battery life has been increased. Their whole reasoning behind this was for the new AI features that are built into the phone, and also for the new gaming performance. So it is really good to see that they actually are upgrading the physical battery and not just upgrading it in software. Also, just another thing to touch on is all these new iPhones get a really cool new feature in the UK and in the US where you can send video to an emergency services. So that is also a really good safety feature, and I'm really glad to see that's also coming to where I live in the UK. And now moving on to the most exciting bit of the event, the iPhone 16 Pro. I'm really excited to get this phone, and I cannot wait to review it for you guys. And they are coming in a 6.3 inch size and a 6.9 inch screen. Absolutely incredible. I cannot believe we're getting 6.9 inches on the Pro Max. I'm really excited to see how that looks and how that interacts in everyday life. And along with that, we're also getting thinner borders so that the phone is not massively different, but the bezels are pushed right up to the edge of the screen. So the phone is just going to look more and more like a sheet of glass. And the iPhone is also getting black titanium, white, and natural gold. So we're finally getting our natural gold colour back along with natural titanium. I really cannot wait to see what the gold colour looks like in person, because I overall think that this phone is going to look stunning in a gold, and titanium is just a great material overall. Now they are boasting that with these Pro iPhones you're going to get the best battery in an iPhone ever, so we'll have to see how that compares up against the iPhone 13 Pros and see if that's any better than it was back then. And these phones obviously get the A18 Pro, which is really good to see that we're finally getting another upgrade, and just to prove that they really wanted to go with the Pro naming, so that it just means the chip is a lot more powerful, gaming is going to be a lot better, and hopefully they fix those thermal issues which we had on the iPhone 15 that were just so inconvenient. The phone would heat up like an oven and the battery life would just drain. A lot of people reporting that their battery health had just tanked within the first couple of months. And also the Tetra Prism camera is now coming into the regular Pro, which is really good to see that we're finally getting the zoom camera on the Pro, on the smaller iPhone, for people that don't want to have to get a massive phone just to be able to zoom in slightly better. Really good to see. And Apple was saying how they also put all new cameras in these iPhones, just slightly better cameras in every single camera. It's not just going to be upgrading one camera, the ultra wide, the wide and the telephoto all get a nice upgrade. And we're also getting a feature later on in the year with the camera control button where it can auto lock focus. So it will automatically track the person and lock their focus with the subject. Really good to see. One thing I'm also really excited to see, which they've added to the phone, is 4K 120 FPS. So you can do that in slow-mo and in regular video. So that's going to make cinematic shots look lovely. It's also going to mean you can bin down to 60 to 30 to 24, all directly in the iPhone before even going into any editing software, which is really cool. And I'm really glad they're bringing more sort of actual pro camera features to these pro iPhones, because they surprised us at the end of the event by saying it was all shot on an iPhone and edited on a Mac. And the event looked absolutely fantastic. So if that's what these cameras are going to look like, then oh my goodness, these videos are going to look fantastic that come out of the iPhone 16. And you can also get 4K 120 FPS in a HDR, which is also really, really cool to see. And I cannot wait to see what shots I can get on this new iPhone. And they were also boasting about some new features, new audio features built into the phone, where it can adjust to be like a studio or to voice isolate certain people, which is really cool to see. Overall, I think this event was really cool. Don't get me wrong, I was really disappointed with what they did with the AirPods Max. They really just did not do anything with it other than adding USB-C just to get that EU regulation. And I'm also weirded out by the AirPods, but I'm also really excited for the 16 Pros, and I cannot wait to get my hands on the 16 Pro Max and get it unboxed and reviewed on this channel. But if you did enjoy this video, please like and subscribe and let me know what iPhone you're going to be getting down in the comments. It's Harry. I'm out. Peace.